My fiancée said, "I need a little break before the wedding." I said, "All right, but there have to be conditions." The next day, I saw her with someone else. My heart sank, every bit of trust shattered. And then I thought, the game isn't over yet, it's just beginning. I'm a 32-year-old guy, and up until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had my life figured out. Sarah and I had been together for 4 years. We met at a charity gala. She was working PR for a nonprofit. I just sold my first startup for decent money. Not billionaire money, but enough to be comfortable. Enough that I didn't worry about bills anymore. We clicked immediately. She was smart, funny, ambitious. We moved in together after a year, got engaged last Christmas. The wedding was supposed to be in 6 weeks. 3 weeks ago, Sarah came home from work looking exhausted. "We've been arguing more than usual. Wedding stress," she said. Seating charts, her mother's opinions, the usual nightmare logistics. I suggested we postpone, give ourselves breathing room. She shook her head. "I don't want to postpone," she said, sitting on our couch, still in her work clothes. "I just need a little break. Like a week or 2. Just to clear my head before everything gets crazy." I stared at her. "A break? We live together. We're getting married in 6 weeks." "I know it sounds weird," she said, not meeting my eyes. "But I feel suffocated. I need space to think. To make sure this is what I really want." That last sentence hit like a truck. Make sure this is what you want. "Sarah, we're already engaged. If you're having doubts." "I'm not having doubts," she interrupted. "I just need time. Please." I sat there processing. Part of me wanted to say no, to tell her this was ridiculous. But another part, the part that had watched my parents' toxic marriage implode, knew that forcing someone to stay never works. "All right," I finally said. "But there have to be conditions." She looked up. "What kind of conditions?" "No dating other people. No going out to clubs or bars looking for attention. This is a break to think, not to test the market. And we check in every 3 days. Text, call, whatever. Just so I know you're okay." She nodded quickly. "Of course. I wouldn't do that anyway. This isn't about other people. It's about me figuring myself out. And 2 weeks maximum," I added. "After that, we sit down and talk. Really talk." "Deal," she said. She packed a bag that night and went to stay at her friend Monica's apartment. Monica had been her college roommate, and they'd stayed close. I'd met her a handful of times. Nice enough, but always gave me weird vibes. Too interested in Sarah's business, too quick with opinions about our relationship. The first 2 days were quiet. Sarah texted once. "Doing okay, just need this time. Thank you for understanding." I threw myself into work. I had a new project launching, plenty to keep my mind busy. But at night, alone in our apartment, I felt the silence like a weight. Day 3, I was meeting an old friend for coffee downtown. Jake and I went way back, college roommates, best man at his wedding, the whole thing. We were sitting outside this cafe on 5th Street when I saw her. "Sarah," walking down the sidewalk holding hands with some guy. I froze mid-sentence. Jake followed my stare, and his face dropped. "Is that?" "Yeah," I said. They were laughing about something. He was tall, athletic build, expensive clothes. They stopped at a crosswalk and he leaned down and kissed her. Not a peck. A real kiss. Jake grabbed my arm. "Dude, I'm so sorry." I couldn't speak. I just watched them cross the street and disappear into a restaurant. My hands were shaking. Jake asked if I wanted to leave, if I wanted to confront them, if I needed anything. I told him I needed to be alone. I went home and sat in the dark for 3 hours. Rage, heartbreak, humiliation, they all mixed together until I couldn't tell them apart. Around midnight, I started thinking clearly. Sarah had lied. She hadn't needed space to think. She'd needed space to cheat. But here's the thing. She didn't know I knew. I texted her, "Hey, just checking in. Hope you're doing okay. Miss you." She replied an hour later, "Miss you too. Feeling better already. This time is really helping." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I called Jake. "I need your help," I said. "And I need you to not ask questions until I'm done." Update 1. I spent the next 2 days gathering information. Jake had a friend who did private investigation work. Nothing shady, mostly corporate stuff, but he knew how to find things. I gave him the guy's description and the restaurant name. Within 36 hours, I had a full report. His name was Derek Chun. 34, investment banker, divorced 6 months ago. And here's the part that made my blood boil. Sarah had met him at a work conference 8 months ago. They'd been talking ever since. Monica had been covering for her, telling me Sarah was at girls' nights or work dinners. 8 months. Almost our entire engagement. I sat with this information, thinking. I could confront her now, blow everything up, kick her out. But that felt too easy. She'd just run to Derek, play the victim, say I was controlling or that our relationship was already over. I'd look like the angry ex now. I wanted everyone to know who she really was. The wedding venue was already paid for, non-refundable, 20 grand down the drain if we canceled. Guest list was finalized, invitations sent. Both families knew, friends had booked flights. I made a decision that probably makes me an asshole, but I don't care. I was going to let her think everything was fine. And then I was going to end it publicly, with proof, in front of everyone. I called Sarah on day 6 of her break. Hey, I said, keeping my voice warm. I've been thinking. I miss you. This break has been good for perspective, but I don't want to wait anymore. Can we meet up? Talk about things. She sounded relieved. Yes. God, yes. I've been wanting to talk to you too. I miss you so much. We met at our favorite coffee shop the next morning. She looked nervous, guilty. I played it perfectly. I was scared. I told her, holding her hand across the table. Scared that you were pulling away. But I get it now. Wedding stress is real. I should have been more supportive. She teared up. Actually cried. You're so understanding. I was so worried you'd be angry. We're partners, I said. Partners work through hard times. Are you ready to move forward? She nodded, squeezing my hand. Completely. I want this. I want us. Liar. She moved back in that afternoon. We fell into our normal routine. Dinners, watching TV, making plans. She was extra affectionate, probably overcompensating for guilt. I played along. Meanwhile, I was working behind the scenes. I hired a videographer, told him I wanted to make a surprise wedding video with messages from friends and family. Instead, I compiled every piece of evidence I had. Restaurant receipts with Derek's name, phone records showing hundreds of texts, photos from the PI showing them together over the past 8 months, screenshots of their conversations that Jake's friend had pulled from a cloud backup Sarah had forgotten about. I made a 12-minute video. Clean, factual, devastating. Update 2: the wedding was supposed to be outdoors at a vineyard 2 hours north of the city. Beautiful venue, 150 guests, string quartet, the whole expensive production. Sarah had put so much energy into planning it. She'd posted about it constantly on social media. #blessed, #loveyofmalife. All that performative garbage. The day before the wedding, we had the rehearsal dinner. Both families, wedding party, close friends. Sarah was glowing. Her parents kept telling her how happy they were, how perfect we were together. My mom hugged her and called her daughter. I felt sick but kept smiling. That night, alone in my hotel room. Tradition, we weren't supposed to see each other before the ceremony. I finalized everything. I told the venue coordinator there would be a special video before the ceremony. She thought it was a sweet surprise. I told the AV guy to play it as soon as everyone was seated, before the processional music started. Wedding day, I got dressed, took photos with my groomsmen, went through all the motions. Jake pulled me aside. You sure about this? He asked quietly. Completely. It's going to be brutal. Good. I walked to my position at the altar. The guests filled in, taking their seats. Sarah's parents in the front row, beaming. My parents next to them. Friends from college, cousins, co-workers. Everyone dressed up, everyone expecting a celebration. The AV guy gave me a subtle nod. The screen behind the altar flickered on. I told everyone it was for ambience photos during the ceremony. The video started. My face appeared on screen. Hi everyone. Thank you for being here today. Before we begin, there's something you all need to see. I watched from the altar as the evidence played. Photos of Sarah and Derek. Timestamps showing their 8-month affair. Text messages, her complaining about me, saying she was only staying for the financial security, calling me boring. Derek asking when she'd leave me. Her saying, after the wedding, once I'm legally entitled to half of everything. The silence in that venue was absolute. Some people gasped. Sarah's mother made a choking sound. I saw Sarah at the back in her wedding dress, frozen in the doorway with her bridesmaids. Her face went from confusion to horror to pure rage in about 5 seconds. The video ended with me saying, I'm sorry you all traveled here for nothing. But I'm not sorry for exposing the truth. There will be no wedding today. I walked off the altar and straight to my car. Didn't look back. Update 3: the aftermath was nuclear. Sarah tried calling me 47 times that day. I blocked her. She showed up at my apartment that night. I'd already changed the locks. Her parents tried to mediate, said I'd humiliated their daughter, that I was cruel. I sent them the full evidence file, and they went quiet. Monica called me a psychopath on social media. Half a dozen people who'd been at the wedding defended me, posting their own comments about how Sarah had lied to everyone. It became this whole thing. Sarah deleted all her social media within 2 days. Derek's ex-wife reached out to me through a mutual connection. Turns out Sarah wasn't his first affair. He'd cheated on his wife with multiple women. She thanked me for exposing him, said she wished she'd had proof during her divorce. Sarah tried to claim she deserved compensation for emotional damages. My lawyer laughed and sent a letter outlining how she'd committed fraud by pretending the relationship was legitimate while planning to divorce me for money. She backed off immediately. The venue kept my deposit but refunded everything else. Most vendors did the same. I was out about 30 grand total, but I made that back in a month from my business anyway. Here's the thing that surprised me. Most people were on my side. Even people who thought my method was harsh admitted Sarah deserved it. My parents were upset about the public nature of it, but they got over it. My dad actually said, "Better now than after you were legally married." Sarah moved to a different city about 6 weeks later. Derek dumped her 2 weeks after the wedding. Apparently public humiliation wasn't sexy to him. Last I heard, she was working at some boutique PR firm trying to rebuild her reputation. I'm doing fine. Honestly, better than fine. I started dating again a few months later, nothing serious yet. I sold my second startup last month for substantially more than the first. I'm looking at houses outside the city. Life feels open again. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far. Then I remember her texts about marrying me for money, about thinking I was boring, about laughing with Derek about how clueless I was. And I stopped wondering. Final update, it's been almost 7 months since the wedding that wasn't. A few things have happened that people keep asking about. So here's the last update I'll probably write. Sarah tried to reconcile about 3 months ago. She sent a long email saying she'd been in therapy, that she understood how badly she'd hurt me, that she wished she could undo everything. She said Derek had been manipulative, that she'd lost herself. I didn't respond. Monica apparently had a falling out with Sarah after everything happened. Turns out Monica had been sleeping with Derek too, before Sarah. The whole thing was messier than I'd even known. They're no longer friends. My business partner asked me last month if I regretted how I handled things. Honestly, no. Could I have done it privately? Sure. But Sarah had spent 8 months performing our relationship on social media, accepting congratulations and gifts and well wishes from people while lying to everyone. She wanted a public love story. I gave her a public ending. I'm not proud of the cruelty, but I'm not ashamed of the honesty. Life's too short to marry someone who sees you as a paycheck. Edit 1. A lot of people are asking if I kept the ring. Yes. Sold it and donated the money to a men's mental health charity. Felt right. Edit 2. For everyone asking about the prenup, we hadn't signed one yet. It was scheduled for the week after the wedding. Glad I dodged that timeline.